Today, we will be hearing a story that was starting in 7th grade. The individual began shoplifting due to peer influence and financial constraints. They regularly stole makeup, snacks, and alcohol, finding it difficult to quit despite understanding the risks. Although they've reduced their shoplifting frequency and stopped drinking, the temptation remains strong whenever they visit stores due to the perceived ease of the act. They recognize the need to break the habit but feel trapped without alternatives, given their current lack of employment. We will also follow the reactions and listen to how people react. Any Cauliflower 4483. I realize how easy shoplifting is and now I can't stop. I don't remember exactly when I first started. It had to be around 7th grade. It was seen as cool to shoplift, so I did it. In 8th grade, I would take the bus. It was right outside the school, multiple times a week to Walmart and steal tons of makeup and snacks. I would go to Dollar Tree and get a lot of snacks and other stores too. I didn't have the money for the items I was stealing since I was so young. Don't judge me for this, but around that time is when I started drinking alcohol too. Since I had no way to get the alcohol, I would just steal it. I was already good at stealing other things, so I was really good about stealing alcohol too. In the summer of 8th grade, I would drink and sneak out a bunch. And of course, I stole the alcohol or was a part of the group that was stealing. I have never gotten caught shoplifting alcohol, but I don't know how to stop since it's just so easy. I understand the stores keep contact on you and the price of things you have stolen, then once it's a high amount, they get you into trouble. I'm trying to get out of that, but I don't have a job. It's really my only option. I'm currently in high school and haven't been going out to the stores often as I used to. I go maybe once a month now. And I quit alcohol, but whenever I go to the store, I have this feeling I have to shoplift since it's so easy. Some advice from Worth, Bookkeeper 5891. I'll give you a piece of advice you can think on whenever you get the urge. When you're under 18, it doesn't go on your record. But after 18, I can promise you from experience it will impact your adult life. There are certain jobs I would like and can't get because I have one minor shoplifting charge. It has definitely set me back a couple of steps. It's not worth it. Also advice from Imptimind. Also note, if you frequently steal from a place, they will often build a case against you in secret until you hit felony amounts, then arrest and press charges when you least expect it, only thinking you were getting away with it the whole time. Any Cauliflower 4483. Original poster. I've gotten caught before. Not seriously caught though. I was never taken to the office or anything, just kicked out the store. Usually when this happens, I don't go back for a month or two. I understand they are keeping track on me and I will get seriously caught. It's just so hard without any money and no job. I told myself once I get a job, I'll pay for everything. I have paid for stuff before and I didn't feel the adrenaline from stealing, but I felt the happiness and satisfaction. I only loved stealing because I could get whatever I wanted. I don't want to pay $7 for a tiny makeup product I could easily fit into my pocket. But honestly, I'm really sneaky about it and talk loudly about money and buying stuff, then make up some shitty excuse to leave. Sometimes I find blind spots from cameras, but I know they are most likely know about half of it. AndyCat19 want to chop in. Hey Opie, wanted to chime in. TLDR at the bottom. Not a former klepto or current myself, but I had a friend who was. I didn't stop her because it didn't affect me until it did. I needed to go to Shopko for some things like shampoo and stuff. So I went and she tagged along. I didn't realize she was lifting things until halfway through shopping, at which point I distanced myself from her while in the store as I didn't want to be associated with her if she got caught. Long story short, they caught her. And we had walked in together, so after I had checked out, they grabbed me too. She had a tank top, an eyeshadow palette, and a mascara or maybe eyeliner, which totaled just under $40. Even with the lowest ticket, she paid over $600 and had community service. I personally got a $350-ish ticket for being her accomplice, despite having not stolen anything. Since they didn't find any merchandise on my person, they hit me with getaway driver, which I was her ride, so I really couldn't fight it. You can't say, well, it wasn't my intent for her to steal. I mean, you can, but good luck winning the argument. It ruined our friendship. That was the initial decline. She couldn't control herself and ended up needing more of a thrill. So not long after that all happened, she stole my wallet. I only found out because she snapped me and I saw it on her bed in the picture and mentioned something about mine being missing. She lied and said she got it at work, hot topic, but could give it to me to make me feel better. She brought it over within an hour. Funny thing about the wallet, she bought from her work. It had an ATM receipt from a festival I'd been to the last time I'd used the wallet. I confronted her and she left my house, then crashed her car to avoid talking about it. We don't talk anymore. TLDR, paying that $7 now can save you hundreds later down the line. It's not if you get caught, it's when. It might save your friendships too. Addiction is a heck of a drug. Yes, stealing can be an addiction. You get addicted to the rush from shoplifting. So please get help, Red Heart. I wish you the best, OP. No. Hole 1155 come with warnings. You gotta be careful these days. It may seem easy, but these companies all have facial recognition capabilities, and a lot of them keep a log of when you steal. They see you every time, and they add it up. It depends on the state, but in California, the dollar amount you need to steal in order for it to be a felony is $900. Once you reach that, and you go back in the store, they call law enforcement immediately and wait for you to leave, and they charge you with felony shoplifting. Just be careful. It's a hard habit to break. I used to do it too when I was your age. It was easier than because the lack of CCTV capability. OMG Cam Coldau thinks that is BS. That's the thing. The commenter above is actually just spitting some BS. Walmart isn't tracking you over the course of 100+ shopping trips until you hit $900 LOL. The amount of storage and infrastructure that would require would be insane. Little snippets of millions of people stealing small amounts of product? And how long do you keep those files for? Say someone steals 10 times, they're at $150 of theft. You want to see them hit $900, but they don't come back for 3 weeks. Do you delete the files? Do you keep them? All of a sudden, the company has decades worth of videos of millions of people stealing small amounts of product, most of which will never reach the limit they're looking for before pressing charges. And at this point, their crimes have probably passed the statute of limitations. Lastly, as you mentioned, yeah, you just need to stop before hitting that value. No doubt there's some facial recognition, but you'd have to be stealing a considerable amount over a short period of time. The idea that they're going to track someone stealing $10 worth of product each shopping trip over the course of a couple years is laughable. But no, Hole 1155 gets a comeback. Actually, it's not BS though. I have seen a few YouTube videos of police cam footage showing this exact thing. Actually, not long ago, there was a doctor who used to shoplift from Target, and they caught her on this exact charge. She over time stole over $900 worth of merchandise, and they charged her with felony shoplifting charges. So yeah, they actually do this. Target loss prevention as well as Walmart will actually go to these links to prevent loss. Before you come on here telling me I'm spewing BS, research it. OMG Camcole. Oh, definitely on a bigger scale it exists, like I mentioned at the end of my comment. But it has to be a noticeable amount. Say you go grocery shopping once a week and spend $50 plus, and you steal a $6 pack of bacon every second trip. They're not tracking you till you hit $900. That's almost 6 years of collecting video evidence. If you're going in 1 or twice a week and stealing a couple cosmetic products worth $15 plus each, then it becomes much more likely. Not saying it doesn't exist at all, but it doesn't for 90% of people that are stealing a few dollars worth of stuff here and there. And no, Hole 1155 are still a good samurai with the next coming. But you're wrong. Target's loss prevention is a different level. They have multiple eyes on you the entire time you're shopping. They do mark down every time you steal. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 items. They log it and report it. And it goes through the data system shared by all targets, so you're in the system. And yes, since everything is digital and all logged into their system, they do keep it. They don't delete the files. That's why they have loss prevention. The cameras in all the aisles in Target are not fake. They are real and running at all times, and people are watching you while you are there. Even contact 1220 comments. This is exactly what I was going to say. Not a good thing for you to be doing, OP. We live in a surveillance state now. Depending if you're an American or not like me, it's not as bad as it is in Europe with CCTV, but it still exists. I remember when this kid I was friends with an active addiction robbed a Little Caesars and came to my friend's apartment. We immediately kicked him out. He wasn't even there for 2 minutes. The cops still ended up showing up because they were able to trace the way he went by cameras. We don't even have that many cameras in my city. Definitely nowhere near Europe's CCTV level, and he still got caught. They'll just wait until you have hit the amount, and then charge you. Plus, if OP has driven their car to any of these petty crimes, it'll be easier to catch them. Also, if you see this OP, it seems like you're experiencing kleptomania, which is a real thing. You need to go get treatment, or it's not going to get better. Uninterruptible_ comes in the discussion with losses. In terms of loss prevention, they can set it up so you get flagged as soon as you walk in the door. They can even set up non-detection as a flagging event as well. So even if you cover your face, you will still get flagged as someone to pay close attention to. I don't imagine most places have that kind of tech set up yet, but it sure will be in the coming years. Walmart is known to keep a record of thefts until it reaches the felony level, then they report you for maximum damage, and target loss prevention is damn near CIA levels of surveillance. Edit. High-level facial recognition is a thing already and has been since COVID and AI. I doubt retailers invest in that kind of tech, but I know for a fact nearly every major tech company has something to that degree. Source work for a tech company that you've heard of and almost certainly use daily or even right now. Chance_astronomer 92. Shoplifting is an addiction. Once you realize how easy it is at certain stores, it can feel like a compulsion. I'm not a shoplifter, but I have struggled with the urge most of my life. It came from growing up poor and wanting what other people had, and I didn't. I'll find myself holding something, thinking over how easy it would be, and then I snap myself out, put the item away, and immediately leave the aisle that has the tempting item. It's important to remember that you are almost always being watched in a store, and they do keep track. The other thing to remember is that you are so young, and getting caught with a large amount of stolen goods can absolutely set you up for a long road of troubles ahead. I'm not judging you. I understand that you are in a difficult place. I would suggest reaching out to an adult you trust and getting some help. I know it's scary, but there are so many good people around you, especially in a school, who can help you get resources. Sending you love and good vibes, OB. You've got this. Yethet had a problem. I got expelled from high school because of shoplifting. I got caught stealing, went to jail for 3 days, came out to find out I had an expulsion hearing to attend. My high school kicked me out because they didn't want my immoral character tarnishing the reputation of the school. Their exact words. This happened 6 weeks before I was supposed to graduate. I had to enroll into a new school specifically for other expelled kids in the county. I graduated on time, but I was not allowed to attend the graduation ceremony. Not allowed to be on school property. No prom. No sporting events. Banned from all affiliation with the school. The principal gave my diploma to my sister, who was a sophomore, and she gave it to me. No pomp and circumstance. I lost all my friends. I was invited to one graduation party. Definitely didn't have one of my own. My parents had checked out of my life long before this, and that's why I ended up in trouble. It's so not fucking worth it. Please quit while you're ahead. I could write several more paragraphs about what happened to me after my conviction. I know that rush of getting away with stealing feels so powerful, but the equal opposite effect is about to drop, and it is devastatingly painful and life-ruining. True queer. When I was a kid, my dad liked to stop at the local auto store and shoot the shit with the owner there. I'm sure my dad was buying whatever for his garage or the farm, but mostly it was just to talk and gossip. I was a bored kid and would wander the aisles and back room and just explore. One time, there were these magnetic rods that were extendable for picking up nails or screws off the floor without having to bend over, and I was derping around with it around the store and decided it was really cool, but I knew my dad wouldn't buy it for me. So it accidentally ended up in my pocket, and I had to keep it hidden on the way home. Later that day, I was hanging out with my cousins and showing off my new toy, and my cousins wanted to use it, but I didn't want to let them, so we started fighting over it. And eventually my dad found out I had it and asked me where I got it from because he knew he didn't have one or buy it for me. Had to admit I stole it, and even worse, he took me back to the store and apologize in person and return it. Really put a damper on my shoplifting aspirations after that. LOL. Now comes even more handy advices and much more. @tone_000. You're addicted to the adrenaline. Find a replacement. Something a bit scary, maybe a little dangerous. That will do the trick. Silver Spring 9255. You're gonna ruin your life. You're gonna lose family and friends, and you'll end up working a dead-end job and struggle for the rest of your life. I've seen it happen many times. Take help or honestly find a replacement for the adrenaline rush like the gym. It's healthy and a positive thing in your life. You're gonna get bit in the ass, trust me. OK_introduction_7766. You think you're good at it, but the cameras are better. Sounds like you frequently steal from the same stores. I highly suggest you stop, as those stores are probably building a file to get you on a felony. Retailers also speak to each other. I work in retail and will frequently text stores near me with video footage of shoplifters, so we can essentially team up to let each other know what you're wearing that day, so it's easier to spot you. Mrs. B_bus. Just keep in mind that if you end up with a shoplifting charge, it will greatly reduce your job pool when you get older. Pretty much all places do background checks now, and shoplifting charges are a red flag. Mindless, Chipmunk, 35. It's the rush of stealing that gets you addicted to it. Just like a drug. Your heart races with adrenaline. Not getting caught is a high also. Don't wait to get caught. Getting arrested, cuffed, taken in for photos and fingerprints is demeaning, embarrassing, and you might have to pay it back. Not to mention that you then have a record. What helps is just staying away as much as you can from stores, especially where you've stolen before. Don't wear a coat, a purse, or baggy pants where you can stash your stolen goods. Eventually, you will feel good about yourself, and when you build up your confidence of having some self-control, you can slowly go back to stores and know you won't be tempted. Also, don't linger in the stores. It just gives you more opportunity to relapse in that bad habit and feel that rush. Get in and get out. Have a list of exactly what you actually need. You can stop. Believe in yourself. Trust me, when you do stop, it's a much better feeling than the short high you get from stealing. Thumbs up, medium, light skin tone, smiling face. Slutty tree hugger. Hiring a lawyer, going to court, and doing the community service to get your charge dropped/expunged is expensive and time-wasting. Fuck big corporations. I don't think you're morally wrong for taking from them, but you will get caught, so you should stop. You feel untouchable until they catch you, and then you feel embarrassed and stupid. It only takes one slip-up. Dolphin 650. I used to shoplift a lot when I was 14 to 16 years old. I did ultimately get caught and get in trouble. I didn't feel good about it. I am now over 50 years old, and now I'm more in tune with my conscience. I regret having done it at all and wish I could undo what I did. I gained nothing of substance, and I was a jerk to my whole community. I still think about it. Tactical Dick. I've worked as LP in security and homeless shelter for several years. The consequences takes a long time to arrive, but once they arrive, it'll mess you up for life. When I was an LP, we always caught kids/teens/young adults. Always, always, always. They were arrested in some cases. In some we would just build a case, then police would arrest them for felonies. Years ago, one of our regular came into the store and went talk to us. He had a baby on the way, and he wanted us to help him clear his record, and we couldn't. He cried and cried and cried, and because he had a record, he couldn't get the job he wanted and was stuck at minimum wage. He couldn't rent a place where he wanted because he had felony convictions. He had no money and little help. His parents were tired to helping him. 1 year later, I saw him in the homeless shelter I work at. No family, no house, no money. I recognized him, but I acted like he didn't know me because he was very ashamed. He stole for 4 years straight until he was caught, and now I haven't seen him in a while. I heard he died. I don't know. I hope he cleaned himself and moved somewhere where he can be happy. Taylor's Trailer 1. I had to switch to an old and used account for this, but I'm an API, Asset Protection Investigator. I'm one of the people who catch thieves at Walmart on the regular, going without the blue vest and all, so I'd say I have a bit of inside knowledge on this. You get away with it until you don't. And when you don't, there's no taking it back. You could be the best person in the world at stealing, but the moment people start to figure you out, it's all downhill from there. It just takes catching you once. Even if it's something small and you're let go later, if the theft monetary amount is below a certain amount and there's no known history, you're let go with no police involvement. Or if someone from the front end lets an API know that someone suspicious might be worth investigating via CCTV, that could lead into a full investigation of everything. Trust me, it's not worth it. I've caught kids stealing small things, and I've caught druggies trying to push out whole carts, and I've caught college-age people ticket switching, putting the UPC of a cheaper item in front of a more expensive one, in a number of creative ways. And I've caught seniors skip scanning most of the merchandise in their carts at the self-checkouts. They all thought they were smart. They all thought they were beating the system. Until they weren't. Also, a correction I want to make. There is no facial recognition to my knowledge. At least not where I am. All APIs are in contact with one another on a program called Auror. It's where we post our incidences and pictures and videos, testimonials and evidence. We all review the posts from other nearby Walmarts and connect the dots when we recognize people. It's a team effort, not facial recognition, at least not yet, though I'm sure it's in the works. Ink Zero Rected. You will get caught, and you definitely will suffer the consequences of being arrested or paying a really high fine that you do not have the money for, nor your parents will want to pay for, most likely. Quit being stupid and get your life together. Go to therapy. You're barely in high school and already fucking up your life for material things. There are more important things out there, and if you really would like to stop, get a part-time job. Just because you're still under 18 does not mean that you will not be facing the legal consequences and they'll let you off lightly. Unfair, Commission 980. I'm telling you, they see you. They are allowing you to steal and keeping a tally of the total. Listen, I made the same mistake in high school. Getting arrested and a night in jail plus a month of community service and a $2,000 fine changed my tune. It will never be worth the risk. You just don't fully appreciate the risk yet. But you will after the consequences. Cold aloe. You'll quit once you get dragged into a back room by loss prevention who was tallying up your dollar amount stolen until they can charge you with a higher offense. Then you're arrested. If you're lucky, you'll be able to fight it out in court as a first-time offender and take a deferral agreement as minor. But that's not promised. Then you'll just become a crime statistic. Think about it. Original, effect, 7568. I thought it was easy too, until I got caught. Luckily, I was able to do a first-time offender program and get it off my record. But if you're doing it regularly at the same stores and they build a file on you, it could ruin your job prospects. Pretend a small child is watching you as a role model, or do all your shopping online/pickup, or whatever stops you, until you're confident you've broken the habit. Chansa. It's already a habit, and if you do not stop, eventually it will become an addiction. If you really can't stop yourself now, it's better if you ask for help from a friend, so that someone can watch over you. If you think it's really a serious matter, professional help would do, counseling, therapy. I don't know, but I'm sure there's someone out there who can help you. There's also a lot of helpful comment here. Hope you process them carefully. Smiley face. Moondoggy seems to be a cheerleader. Personally, I support stealing from big companies, but the risk of getting caught can be high. I don't feel bad for them in this situation, but rather you dealing with the consequences. Companies commit wage theft constantly, and with the price gouging on grocery items and everything right now, they need to be stolen from MO. But be careful and take care of yourself. Discussion Scorpion. Better get that over with before you're 18. All you'll face is community service at the least when you commit theft before you're 18 and get caught. It also doesn't stay on your permanent record. If you get caught stealing after age 18, it's going to be a whole lot worse of an issue that will stay on your record for a long time. I know you might be going through some issues that stealing helps you with. I stole in my teens because I was angry. It is not good to steal. Remember, the shop owners are barely paying their employees, just making it at home. Respect them. Don't add to the inflation. It always hurts to be stole from, even if it's a stranger. Don't succumb to the urge. Remind yourself what will happen if you do this after 18. If you succumb to the urge and get caught one time, you'll have to learn the lesson for yourself, and nobody will be able to get you out of it. Community service sucks, man, especially in the police office, but food bank is a pretty good gig. What you get from the store you pay money for. It will catch up to you. Wonderful, catch, 8461. I have a similar story. I order makeup online which has specific get with purchase products, then put in cash on delivery as mode of payment. The actual products and get with purchase products come separately. I take the get with purchase products and reject the actual order for which I have to pay. I got MAC blushes, lipsticks, highlighters, Estee Lauder serums, eye creams, lip balms, Bobbi Brown lipsticks, highlighters this way. I feel so guilty, but can't stop. Gold responsibility 27. I had a classmate who was incredibly problematic. Family problems, smoking, identity theft, you name it. But it was shoplifting that she were caught and charged for. If I remember correctly, her mother had to pay $2,000 to bail her out from serving jail time, and her crimes wrecked her reputation at high school. Let us infamous 50-30. I would be extremely careful. It's definitely addictive, but it is a big deal if you get caught. Many big box stores wait until you have racked up a felony then prosecute. Even if you are able to get charge dropped or a first-time offender situation, getting charged can impact your ability to have certain jobs and can follow you around for a long time. Please be careful. CYB3 or _F0X. I was shoplifting from a store. I've stolen almost $9,000 in items over a 2-month period. It felt like it was the easiest thing in the world. I needed stuff for college, so decided to get things I deemed were important for my major, and of course I took the high-end items. I knew it was time to stop. A couple weeks after I stopped, my friend texted me about an article where someone was caught stealing thousands of merchandise from the same store. I knew the risks of stealing from the store, and I knew how good their CCTV service is. It tracks motion of limbs, walk paths, and facial tracking. I was pretty tense for several days after I figured everything is fine. Eventually someone gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar, but the question is whether that person will be you? Straubs_smoothie. I got caught at a Hobby Lobby. Had an entire bag of stuff, but was only caught for 2 paintbrushes. I got banned, LOL. I had an entire glass chicken in my bag, plus a bunch of crazy fucking expensive watercolor paint tubes. I'm talking like potentially $200 plus worth of high-quality paint. It scared the shit out of me because I was like 15. I got this awful bitter taste in the back of my mouth beforehand, like I knew something was going to go wrong. Only ever had that awful bitter taste suddenly surface when I had severe panic about something, like a potential life-threatening thing, or something that I knew I couldn't go back in time and change. I was terrified in the moment and apologized, but looking back on it, I definitely dealt with the situation like a coward. Should have just walked out since they're not allowed to chase you at Hobby Lobby. Anyways, I don't regret it. Still have the silly glass chicken sitting on a shelf in my room. Pretty sure it's meant to be a paperweight or something, but he's just a cute little fat fuck on his own on my shelf, so he lives up there for now, smiley face. But don't steal. I stopped because I didn't want to potentially get a charge. I was poor back then, and I'm still not well off at all now, but I don't shoplift anymore, and only would if I needed basic human necessities like food, water, clothes, shoes, etc. Also, fuck Hobby Lobby. They're owned by an insane, racist, rich, cult-white evangelical family, so actually you should steal from there. Definitely steal from there. Familiar_car_6097. Back in high school, I mildly shoplifted too. Only to one store though. I did it every day for a few years, typically just stealing donuts and a pop, but once in a while a couple other things. I got caught. I was banned. It was a grocery store that my bus picked myself and all the other kids from my area up in the morning. So once I was banned, I had to find a ride to school every single day. Don't shoplift, it's really not worth it. XX Juicy Pie XX. I'm unsure about the truth to this, but I was reading up on certain large chain retailers essentially ignoring petty theft as it's not worth a whole lot if you're only caught stealing those smaller items. However, they make a report of it so they can keep track of everything you've taken. Then when that number reaches a set point and they finally catch you, the total of what was stolen is large enough to fall under grand larceny. IRL_potate. Don't come at me for this, but they keep a record of all of that and purposely let you get away with it until reaches a certain amount in $, and undeniable proof before they take you to court. Please stop. SGT_Maj_Vines. As others have said, eventually you're going to get caught. Some stores will let you walk over and over again until they build a big enough case against you, and then you're in serious trouble. I'm not at all judging you in any way, but do the smart thing here and learn from other people's poor choices before it's too late. Suspicious. Meal 6306. You're facing a moral dilemma. The real question is it wrong because you might get caught or for the act itself? The fact that you asked the question means you believe you shouldn't be doing it. Red Wonderful 19. I used to shoplift about 2 years ago. I had been unemployed for 6 months despite constant job applications and started delivering groceries for a store. It started off as just taking what I needed in order to eat for the day since the pay way horrible and I could hardly afford to live. But then I started getting brave, taking things I didn't need, taking luxuries, whatever it was that I wanted, and felt it was feasible to take. I noticed the people in the store started to look at me funny and treat me differently. I almost got caught as I was walking out of the store with an order that I truly had no free samples in. I was honest when I was saying I had nothing, and I eventually got let go. But the fear and embarrassment of almost being caught got me to stop for good. Please stop while you are ahead. It may be hard and tempting, but it will be a worthwhile decision. No judgment being passed here. Just make better choices when you're given the opportunity to do so. Smiley face. Vanilla Snake 21. You should think of it a different way. Is whatever you're taking worth the risk of forever ruining your record? I was so close to getting a misdemeanor over some stupid shit, not realizing it would have prevented me from getting my professional license later on. So it might be easy, but every time you do, you're taking a 0.0001% chance of potentially ruining your life. Kooky Kylie. There have been several instances of shoplifters who have gotten caught after years of doing it. Turns out the store had just been waiting for them to accumulate enough cost to charge them for a felony crime instead of petty theft. Just know that even if you haven't been caught yet, doesn't mean that they don't know. Fost 18. I know a guy who's been stealing food from Walmart multiple times a week for over 4 years. He has to be way over the felony amount, so it doesn't seem like they're tracking him. He's a bodybuilder but also a broke college student, so he just steals the food he eats. Never been caught. Creative_mix_643. I think it's kinda similar to not paying for parking. You might get away with it a couple times and then you get a massive fine which ends up being equivalent to or more than if you've had just simply paid for parking. That plus the cost of your conscience. Jerry Kelf. I never shoplifted, but I am not going to make a moral question out of this. So believe me when I say that I say this with no judgment. Stop it. Going just by the numbers, you'll get caught eventually. People make mistakes, and the number of mistakes you can afford is zero regardless of how many times you shoplift. But the chance of making a mistake increases with increasing the number of attempts, let alone talking about sacrificing your reputation and options. Words go around. You don't want to get banned from all the shops in the neighborhood. And life also works in a funny way. Who knows when you'll meet employees of the shop in the different light or will apply there yourself. You don't want to involve these variables just for some cheap items and some momentary high. You want to go around your neighborhood respected and honest, not having anxiety about whether the store clerk knows that you stole something X years ago. Stop it now while you're ahead. You'll get caught by the numbers, and even if you don't get caught, it's just not worth it. It's going to come back to you in some way, at some point. I completely understand the poorness, and it still doesn't justify it. It's obviously on your conscience, so the sooner you stop, the better you're going to feel about yourself. That's going to help you do better. You can do it. Sigourney Weiner lover. I've stolen well over $2,000 worth of stuff, even some $500 alone in stuff from my current job. I know they don't catch me. What good is 86 surveillance cameras if there's no one to watch every last frame of hundreds of thousands of hours of footage? Be smart about and always err on the side caution and be smart. Mysterious at 9141. I used to steal small stuff from Walmart all the time. I'd find little clearance stickers and put them on like a pair of expensive jeans, expensive to a teen. Eventually they caught on and quit putting barcodes on the stickers, and I couldn't do it anymore. That's what scared me enough to quit, LOL. My friend did it with me, and it even made her stop doing it too. I'd suggest just going to the store only when you need essentials or groceries, and don't go in just to browse, because personally, I feel like that's what made me want to steal things that I wanted but couldn't afford. Fucks_would_it_. I agree with the others. You will get caught. When I was a teen, I hung out with the wrong crowd and shoplifted a few times. I even bought like $200 of clothes, Urban Outfitters S&D, slipped these silly tights in my purse S&D. The beeper went off when I was leaving the store. I was 16, and I cried my eyes out, handcuffed to their back steps. I felt awful, and they knew I felt bad, so they didn't press charges. I was lucky. It was so traumatic that after that, every single time that left a store while walking through a theft detection scanner, I would literally cringe and heard the alarm in my head from the PTSD and felt a rush of anxiety. Every single time, I couldn't walk through a scanner after that without having a panic attack, basically. Like, even though I knew I hadn't stolen anything again, I had fear that the scanner alarm was going to go off, LOL. So I never stole again. Years later, I can tell you that the most important thing in life is integrity. If you haven't figured that out yet, then you know nothing. Because every thought you think, actions you take, and words you speak are energy. And the energy that you put out comes back. If you steal, then you can count on being stolen from probably X3. Same with anything else. Moral conduct or integrity is the truth, wealth, and abundance, and is highly lacking in this world. Don't grow up to be a lame ass. Also, you can stop doing literally anything you put your mind to. It is called meditation. You focus and you stop, no excuses. Strive to become a better person every day if you want to draw to you positive and happy experiences. Maybe go and sit a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat and get to know the entire mysterious universe within you. Late_breath_2227. This is good advice. A theft charge will follow you for a long time. I truly believe a company would hire someone with drug charges over theft charges. Why, you ask? People can't trust a thief. Companies don't want to be stolen from. I think there is a large number of teens who try to shoplift. They get the thrill, and then they stop. You do not want something as silly as snacks and makeup to get in the way of your future. I worked at a place that waited and watched this person shoplift until it reached a felony level. They purposely waited and kept adding up the cost. If you want something that you can't afford, apply for a job. It will feel so much better paying for something that you worked hard for. I'm glad you quit alcohol. I'm an alcoholic/addict. Many bad choices I made have followed me around for a long time. I did stupid shit and got into a lot of serious trouble, and it changed my entire future. I was a 2-time felon by the time I turned 18. I have the life I love today because I'm in recovery, only by the grace of God. Please remember also that the type of people you hang around with will either keep and hold you down or inspire you. Stick with the winners, my friend. Don't go shopping without a trusted friend. A friend who wouldn't allow you steal if you were with them. a friend to help keep you accountable. It's just as easy as not doing it. Best wishes. Winter, aside 5813. If you're already 18 and above, I would suggest to stop doing this. With a vengeance. Because it will go on your record, and if and when you decide to clean up your act in the far future, like get a nice career, etc., this shit will come back to haunt you. Imagine you're in your late 20s, get your act together, and can't find a decent paying job because of a shoplifting record that happened when you were 18 that keeps getting pulled up when companies do background checks on you. All because you thought stealing $7 makeup palettes was such a thrill. You're literally going to fuck up your life over something so fucking stupid, lol. Stop. Now. King Wakaru. I think if people tell you that you'll be charged for stealing past 18, it won't do a thing. Because you already don't care about yourself at this point. You'll end up stealing until you get caught. I've had an urge to steal too, thinking the CEO won't even feel a thing. But I sometimes look at the employees and think about how everything that doesn't add up to the inventory might be deducted from them. Thinking about their hard work. I've never even attempted. I felt guilty even just thinking about it. Lipid extensions. First and foremost, the experience of being caught even for a small amount is humiliating. Stealing from locally owned businesses is morally unsettling. Big box stores will note your description, your vehicle description, and your patterns. They'll wait until you hit a certain amount, submit their investigation to LE, and press charges. Undoubtedly will become a court case, and it'll go to a judge what happens next. If you keep it under $10, purchase other items with cash, and do it somewhere you've never been and will never return, you would be fine. But at that point, why bother? Just don't. Nick Devious 999. F******. If ever there were a time to commit petty retail theft, it's right now in the you touch me and I'll sue your era. Especially if you live in a Democrat-controlled state. An even bigger bonus if you happen to be non-white. You get those two together and you have a practical license to steal. Unless you're shopping at a small, family-owned store, the most they will do is ask you to please show a receipt, or if they already know for sure you stole something, ask you to remain in the store until police show, which obviously you don't. Don't say a word to them. Don't acknowledge their requests or even their presence. Act like you're on your phone and in a hurry. Just try to switch up your spots. Don't go and steal from, say, Walmart every single day, or you risk them getting butthurt and building a case. If you have money and tend to steal the same items on a regular basis, maybe buy them once and keep the receipt and always keep it with you so in the future when you boost, you can present the receipt with the items you stole on it. They usually don't bother checking date and time. Use magnets to get the anti-theft devices off high-dollar items. Burn off dye tags and changing rooms. Shoplifting should be punishable by death because it's so easy to get away with. If you get caught, you deserve to be removed from the breeding pool. That is all. Happy boosting. Nigla scripts. What a crass and flip response. Did you even read the whole post? Or beyond the bold print? They're in high school now, quit alcohol, and only go to stores once a month. They're confessing what they did in their previous years and saying that although they're not stealing now, they still have the compulsion. I don't know if you're completely unfamiliar with addictive and compulsive behaviors and how blissfully sheltered for you if you are so unaware, but clearly drinking. Shoplifting, the rush that they are talking about, all of that stems from a deeper-rooted issue that needs to be addressed. Kids don't start drinking alcohol and shoplifting in the 8th grade without some major issues going on. Saying that's your own risk, we can't help you L0L, makes you kind of the problem with kids. Obviously, they came here to open up and unburden this from themselves and possibly looking for some help, advice, and redemption. Yet that's your own risk, we can't help you LOL. You aren't, we, and you don't speak for all of us. So maybe in the future when somebody is being vulnerable and possibly reaching out, maybe not dismiss them with laughter. Cheers. Now my thoughts at Read It Now. I don't have so much to say about this. I have been there and done some shoplifting. It was in my teens when I didn't know better, got caught one day, and was taken back to the store by my parents to the shop owner and give it back and apologize. It was a valuable lesson. Thank you for staying this long, and I hope the content I bring you give you some relaxation from your day-to-day. If you liked it, you are more than welcome to subscribe, like, and leave a comment since it would help me out a lot to be able to bring more content for you guys. Bye for now.